I know that I don't usually do this sort of thing, but this situation has been extremely confusing for me, and so I just wanted to get an opinion and maybe see what this looks like to someone from the outside. I do want to preface this by saying that while my relationship with my doctor is technically inappropriate, I don't necessarily think that there's anything wrong with it. I met my doctor about a week ago, and he is a general practitioner in a crummy New York City clinic. I'm not going to say which one. I was just kind of coming out of this really exhaustive process of doctor shopping, which was made a lot more difficult by my ADHD. I have ADHD, among other things, and I have a lot of issues with executive dysfunction. And the reason that I was looking for a doctor, I'm just going to be upfront about it, is I really needed a bridge for my medication for my ADHD, for amphetamines. And there's kind of a catch-22 of trying to get any kind of medical help when you struggle with executive function and you're trying to get the thing that makes you function at a time when you can't function, and you're just kind of pulling yourself up by the skin of the teeth of your bootstraps, whatever, trying to make one call to a doctor's office. And I couldn't afford a psychiatrist. My insurance didn't cover that. My insurance really sucks, honestly, and it doesn't cover almost anything. No therapy, no psychiatry. And so general practitioners will, if you're lucky, prescribe you your medication sometimes if you go in and you say that, I don't know, you're between psychiatrists or something and you just need this. And I had scheduled a checkup, but I really was just going in kind of for that reason. I didn't need a checkup. Anyway, I'm losing my train of thought already. I don't know why, because I know exactly where my train of thought is going. It's just like I keep kind of zapping out. I keep having these moments of zapping out. I don't know why. This should be a straightforward thing. Okay, it is a straightforward thing. So I go to the clinic, and like I said, I'm kind of just in this vulnerable place. I'm also a little bit weak. I had a really turbulent relationship. The reason that I was shopping for a new doctor is because of the blowout that I had with my last doctor, which I'm not going to get into now. Maybe in another video if it feels right. But yeah, I make it to the clinic. I am feeling a little on edge. I'm a little weak, but it's this triumphant thing because it's, I made it. It's dirty in there. It's gross. It's crummy. Whatever. I don't care. I'm not picky. I feel, kind of out of it because I didn't eat because I was scheduled to get blood work that day. And I'm waiting. And I'm waiting for kind of a long time. Like, I think it's been maybe 45 minutes after when my appointment was supposed to be, and I still have not been called up, and I'm dicking around on my phone, but it's kind of running low on battery. And finally, the nurse comes out and she says, Sasha, and I say yes, and she says, I can take your vitals, come with me. So I go with the nurse, and she takes my vitals and she makes me fill out a little mental health survey, and she's kind of joking about how I shouldn't need to fill out the survey and it's dumb that they have to do this protocol. And I do think that the questions, like the scale questions about depression on the survey themselves, are stupid, but I don't know if I necessarily agreed that there should not be any kind of screening for people's mental health. Like, I do think that that's positive. It's a good step. I think it's a good step. Anyway, she said that, and then she got the needle ready to take my blood, And I've gotten my blood taken a bunch of times. It's always fine for me. I never really have a problem with it. And I gave her my right arm, and she put the needle in, and something just went really, really wrong. I felt like something in my existence just got bent, and there's this really sharp pain. And I just felt myself starting to kind of buckle, and I was whiting out a little bit. Like I was fainting, and I was saying, there's something wrong, there's something wrong. And the nurse was saying, oh, you're fine, you're fine. And what had happened was she had missed my vein, and she was doing what's known as swimming. So she would kind of backtracked and was just digging around in my arm, kind of trying to find the vein, which, she's not supposed to do, because if you miss the vein, you're supposed to pull it out, because it can be incredibly painful for the patient, which it was. And it was also causing me to pass out and sweat. And so I was kind of whiting out, and I was feeling very bad. And then I just kind of hear this like chuckle from the hallway. And I'm slowly sort of coming to and opening my eyes to see this guy. He's just, I don't know, casually leaning up against the frame of the hallway and laughing at me. And
hello. So, I am extremely sleep deprived, and I've pretty much just spent the entire day thinking about my life and myself and the kind of person I am and the kind of person I want to be and what changes I want to make in my life and, what things I would like to be better at and what things I really could do without. Nothing crazy or bad really happened to me. Everything is fine. I'm just very sleep deprived, and I haven't been able to do that much editing or anything like that. Some days it's just kind of difficult to do that thing, and so I am planning, just because it feels like it's been a long time coming, I'm planning to kind of reinvent myself over the weekend in a methodical way, and maybe I'll document it. I think kind of what I should have mentioned at the outset of this segment is that I'm not going to be able to continue the arc with the doctor as it stands, because, and I'm being completely serious here, the arc with the doctor is something that as of yesterday is a currently ongoing thing, and that was not something that was happening when I initially filmed the video. But basically what I'm saying is that the subject matter of the doctor story has actually become a little bit too relevant to real things happening in my life, and so I can't in good faith divulge those details or tell a story online that seems too similar. Maybe I'm just paranoid, but I also want to respect the privacy of all the people involved. So there's that. And I will try to think of a way to salvage the storyline. I am a little disappointed because I worked extremely hard on it, and it was kind of one of those things where I just sat down and I got sucked into script world, and I did a lot of different takes, and it was just this whole thing. Yes, I know it's takes and I'm doing a story, but it's just I kind of have trouble with verbal communication, and so that's another one of the things that I kind of want to reinvent about myself And another one of the things that I would like to scrap about the video, because I noticed there's just a lot of filler language, just so much kind of, there's a lot of, it's sort of, it's just like this, it's like, yeah. In case you're wondering why I am lying on the floor, it is because I am tired. And if you're wondering why this copy of Eminent Hipsters by Donald Fagen is here, it's because I wanted to include it in the video because I love Donald Fagen. I have 3 different copies of this book, and I think maybe I bought one of them. I'm not sure, or maybe all of them were given to me as gifts. Either way, you can kind of take a look. It's my dude, and I've kind of been posting up a little storm today, posting up a storm on Instagram. I posted a lot about Steely Dan, and so it's just kind of been interesting to see how people have been reacting to that, because I sort of started to continue this storyline of a character that I played 5 years ago, and I think people are taking the post a lot more seriously than I expected. It's on Instagram and Twitter. On Instagram, it seems, yeah, I don't know, it's not important. Yeah, and then I'm always like, actually, in the previous part of the video, I'm so tired. In the previous part of the video, the reason that maybe nobody, I don't even know if anyone noticed. See, it's just the speed of time. The speed of time is very, very strange. But I don't know if anyone noticed that the video is sped up very slightly, and that's because I also feel insecure about how slowly I speak. Of course, I don't always talk slowly. I think sometimes I can talk extremely slowly, and sometimes I can talk extremely quickly, and I'm never really aware of which one it is. But when I watch back a video of myself talking, or listen back to audio of myself talking, it's very disconcerting. Just kind of have this issue from being a kid and not really having a lot of verbal conversations or interactions with people, not enough at the very least, and having kind of this fear of public speaking, but public speaking also just in terms of talking for extended periods of time. And I didn't really start having what I feel are real conversations with people until I was in my mid-20s, and now I'm kind of trying to work on having more considerate conversations with people, and I'm happy to admit that, just working on trying to ask questions and not interrupt, and make sure that whoever I'm talking to feels safe and heard and is actually those things. Anyway, so thinking about reinventing myself, just kind of always thinking about that, but thinking more purposefully about it now, and thinking about Steely Dan. I listened to some Steely Dan today. I was listening to Countdown to Ecstasy in the shower, and sometimes I have this kind of delusion that I can sound a lot like Donald Fagen. If you listen to my album Star, the 3rd track on that album is called Lily 3, and that's me trying to do Steely Dan. I worked on it with a very good friend of mine, Max Bennett Parker, super talented musician. I've been thinking about getting back into music too, and I've got some pretty wild ideas, and I've felt musically dead for so long, and so I've kind of been diving into this video thing a lot, and I've got all these ideas for video and TV, and I'm working on all these pilots and whatnot, but I've just got too much on my plate at this point. I've just got hours and hours and hours of footage and I'm trying to figure out what of it. I mean, I'm putting it on Patreon and stuff. I definitely want it to get out there, and I don't think it's bad. It's not the scraps. It's just me being really overwhelmed and not. I mean, I just don't know how to organize it. It all feels very disorganized, and then I'm working on several projects where I'm trying to get other people on board as well, and I have not done that in a while, and I'm also just kind of reeling from a kind of isolation that I've never experienced before, where I moved away from the big city that I'm from, and it's my first time not living in a major city in my life. I mean, I still live in a major city, I just live in the suburbs, and it's actually really nice, and it's the first time I've had space in my life, and that's been awesome, and that's been really, really great. I've really benefited so much from that. I think it's been really healthy for me, and I think that it's really helped me get more in touch with myself and gain a better understanding of who I was, because when I was living in New York City, I was just constantly like inundated with all kinds of stimuli and people, and I would be you know, I kind of got swept up into the music scene there, and I made all these really cool artist friends, and I would be talking to all these different people, and I would sometimes go out or sometimes go to shows, and so many amazing things happened to me there, but it was just kind of something was always going on 24/7. I never had time or space to really be in touch with myself. There was never any silence, and I have a lot of trouble sitting with silence. I think I have a lot of trouble sitting with myself, and I especially have a lot of trouble with silence following words that I've spoken, you know, because I have a tendency to feel that everything that I say and do is wrong, but it's not. And generally the wrong thing is if, you know, I'm acting in anticipation of something I'm projecting onto another person, or if I'm saying that feeling that something's wrong is just me projecting the behavior of people who have I don't want to say traumatized me. I just want to say my trauma is causing me to project onto people. Maybe that's a better way to put it. And so I forgot why I'm talking about this. I said that it would be 30 plus minutes of talking, and I don't know. I'm feeling kind of vulnerable. I always get in this weird state when I'm sleep deprived, and so maybe I shouldn't have even said that thing about the doctor, but I don't think my doctor is gonna find this, and even if they do, there's nothing really linking anyone to anything. And I've been very careful in telling my story. And the other thing is, I don't know if anyone's going to believe a word that I say. It's getting really, really interesting. I feel like this is something that I should put on my Patreon, because it's just so vulnerable. And like, I am really being 100% for real right now. I'm not jerking anyone around in this segment in the phone video. This is all, I'm not improvising. I'm just talking, and I'm kind of just trying to explain myself, explain where I'm at, how I'm feeling, what's going on with me, everything that I'm experiencing. And so, yeah, I think this is kind of more of the stuff that I did intend to put on the Patreon. And I don't even think a lot of people know that I have it. My intention in making this is not to plug it, But if people are interested in that kind of thing, I mean, I'm more than happy to do almost anything that people want. Well, I shouldn't say that because then I'll come off as desperate. But I don't feel desperate about it. I just kind of feel like, well, I think that I think that I've got something as worth paying for as anybody else. And you get to decide what is the most valuable to you. I've been asking and asking for people to give feedback on what they want to see in the Patreon, and I launched my own Discord, which at this point is just me and a couple people talking about Steely Dan on and off, day by day, and just kind of updating each other about our days. And I really wanted it to be this thing where it's, I don't know, someone made this comment on my Instagram today about how I should really cherish this time when my audience is small, because I'll be able to really appreciate the support that I get more. I'm very much in a place of feeling like that, and I'm very much in a place of wanting to cherish that, and for sure, and also in having this community now available to me, I kind of have a chance to be online friends with the people that support me and talk to them. My phone storage got full, always having that problem. Anyway, I was talking about really appreciating the opportunity I have to connect with my community on a closer level right now, and I'm a little arrogant. I do feel really sure that I don't know what I'm gonna do about this. I kind of just have to take the L. I don't know if I was able to talk about the Discord in the last video. I really actually just can't remember. But it's been really nice. It's just been really nice to talk to people, and I think that I can tell that things are going to get a lot busier, and I think it's probably going to happen pretty soon because I'm working really hard, and I don't know, I feel that something is coming. It's not something that's just gonna happen for me ever. It's never like that. I used to always just have this mentality where I was very delusional and kind of struggling with a lot more mental health stuff than I do today, and extremely paralyzed all the time. And I would try and console myself by having this mentality that, it's gonna work out for you, and it'll happen for you. And I don't think that that's incorrect. I do think that it'll happen for me, and I think it'll happen for you too, as long as you put in the work, and as long as you work by your own rules as much as you possibly can, if you want to be fulfilled as an artist. Because it feels to me I don't know, like being able to have creative integrity, I think, is a privilege in its own right. And a lot of people create to make money, and I think that that's a perfectly valid job, and it doesn't take away from the people that are in it because they love it and also happen to make money. And I mean, I don't even really know what I'm saying, because I keep losing my train of thought. Oh yeah, it won't just happen to you, but it will definitely happen for you if you keep going, and if you don't stop, and if you don't stand in your own way. I'm definitely the biggest thing standing in my own way all the time. And So this weekend when I reinvent myself, I think I would really like to have a talk with that person who is standing in my way, because I got a few bones to pick, and I don't think the conversation has to be. I think the conversation is going to ultimately be a very positive thing. There might be some hard truths to swallow, but we've tangoed before, this person and I think that I'm not suggesting that I have DID or something, by the way. I'm just speaking cryptically, and I feel like I exist halfway on some kind of astral plane as a result of my brain being extensively affected by certain certain substances that psychedelics. Anyway, can't think of how to end the video. Oh yeah, I guess I just wanted to express my intense appreciation for all the people that have been supporting me and bothering to watch this and listen to me and the things that I have to say. And I just really hope that you get something good out of it. And when people tell me stuff like that, that's always the most meaningful to hear, is not even that it's good. I never really know whether it is or not. I don't even really know what that means. It's not whether it's good, but it's just sometimes people will tell me stuff like it makes them feel less alone, or it makes them feel understood, or it cheers them up, and that's always just the best thing. So yeah, thank you for, I always want to thank people for existing, but yeah, thank you for existing, and thank you for seeing me. And sorry about this video mess. And well, I guess I don't really need to I'm trying not to apologize for things that I don't have to, because I think that that's an issue that I do a lot, and I just make it seem like it's like I'm creating a self-fulfilling prophecy where I wasn't doing anything wrong, but now it's kind of true that I am, just because now, well, that's the general perception that I created around my actions. Or maybe people just don't care, because a lot of people are like, what are you talking about? You don't have to be sorry. So I guess I don't, and I would like to not be anymore. But thank you for watching, and I will try and figure out a way to tie up the story. I really, really, really wish that I could tell you exactly what is going on with I tell you the reason why I can't include the 20 plus further minutes of footage that I was supposed to. It's kind of just a freak coincidence that I can't. And maybe I'm just freaking out over nothing again, and I'll be able to release it. But I think either way, I'm probably just going to take this as a sign and an opportunity that I need to scrap the whole thing. I don't think, oh my god, what am I talking about? Well, I'm gonna try and patch this together now and put it up on the tube and call it a night. And I'm hoping to put a lot more polished work out there, because I do have all of those hours and hours of footage and all those projects, and I'm sure excited, but Oh boy. And I love Steely Dan.